Why are you walking down Main Street with no damn clothes on?
Sir, you say that like it's a bad thing. The Lord made these clothes I wear.
All right, enough of this. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. Stop resisting or you catch another charge.
Tag, officer, you're it. Tag, Marco Polo.
Oh, you're going to the ground. Do you want to get tased?
I bet I blow a 666 again, officer.
Nope, not this time. You got a 667. That's a 666 with my extra long thumb checking your oil.
Welcome back. Good to see you guys again. How about that intro? Best intros on YouTube, I've been told. I hope you guys dig it. Always love doing some new stuff. But good to see you back again. And for you first timers in the crowd, don't worry about it. Just hang on tight. We'll be taking a little white knuckle trip today through some true crime, absolute craziness. This video will be less than 666 seconds or 11 minutes and 6 seconds, or you know what it is. It's free. So nobody's going to give you a deal like that, but Murder Metal Mayhem will. And I am wearing my Billy Bats shirt today from Goodfellas. Maybe I'm a little cockier than I usually am. Some Billy Bats there. Now go home and get your shine box. Now do me a favor and like the video right now. And if you're not a subscriber, then please consider doing that before you go. And subscribe. And comments posted below help the video as much as liking the video does. So we appreciate that as well. It doesn't cost a thing. Now, this episode is brought to you by Waterboards for Fun. Bring some extra cheer to your hazing incidents with some waterboarding craziness. The kits are easy to assemble in 19 minutes. And that includes opening and closing the box. Fun for the whole fraternity. So have at it. Now, most of us following the Idaho 4 case have been more than curious when it comes to the fraternities and the sororities. These crimes could most certainly have been done by a woman who was in shape and strong enough to deliver the blows that was necessary. So don't count them out. I've got a lot of views to the last video I did about David Baracoa, or Barry as some call him, and his statements that he made on Amazon Prime on the docuseries One Night in Idaho. And if you missed it, I'll try to link to that in the episode description. I caught a little bit of flack from some of the trolls out there accusing me of slandering Barry, but correction. He said he drove by the house at 4 a.m. I didn't say he drove by the house at 4 a.m. He did it, driving multiple drunk people home from the big Sigma Chi bash that night. So for all we know, it's his car in those cameras because allegedly I heard his mother had an Elantra, who didn't have an Elantra in Moscow, Idaho that night. No, I didn't say that I thought Barry was part of the crimes. I was just reporting on what he said in the documentary and commenting about it. Anyone with a shred of sense would never put themselves even close to 1122 King Road that night, especially on an internationally released docuseries. I mean, his mom is a paralegal. I was really shocked that he did it. But did anyone really pay attention to it and what he said? I don't know. Could my small video create a little bit of a tidal wave of curiosity back across the Banfield where it belongs, along Greek Row, where it originally started with the police looking over there and then abruptly diverted and focused on Kohberger. Now, I've got a lot of comments on that video, and one in particular was really interesting. I don't normally read to you guys, but I feel that's the best way to tell you about it rather than paraphrasing what it says. I do want to disclaim this video. These are my opinions and speculations. I am in no way accusing anyone of any crimes. Everything I say is alleged. I am simply reacting to their statements and this viewer's comment. Okay? Now, I don't want to post a screen name of this individual without his or her permission. So for now, this is from an anonymous person. And big thanks to the one who commented with this. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you. Give me a second. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. Thanks, Pete, and horns high. Speaking of high, I'm glad you made the decision of the 420 time reference. It's a small, seemingly silly detail, and one that I suspect some of these players might include, resulting in them thinking they're funny, clever, and smarter than everyone else, and that nobody will catch it. Someone like David Barry Baracoa, a so-called genius, but a person with very apparent mental problems, as other problems that might allegedly include DRUG use, steroids, inferiority complex masked as a superiority complex and or arrogance, difficulty in and with social situations, difficulties with procuring any interaction with girls, and he puts a parentheses, incel behavior, rage at being rejected, being a neglected but affluent child, anger management issues, a dark fantasy world with a mindset in which brutal red rum plays a central role, etc., etc., etc. He was jealous of Ethan Chapin, a guy who had much of what Barry lacked, and Ethan had those things in spades. Barry was highly indignant that the likes of Xana would choose Ethan over himself. And this is in his opinion. Barry also always gave me, and still does, Elliot Rodgers vibes. That's ironic, from way back. By the way, Huda London and I are on the same page with all the frats and all the many players in this atrocious, filthy crime. Huda really likes your channel, Pete, and it's easy to see why. I've watched you since you began diving into the Idaho 4. You make good sense, and I find your speaking voice to be compelling. I hope you and yours are well. Much love and prayers. Another couple things that are high in this case: the level of my distrust in any of the officials who have had a hand in this travesty, and that the stench from this putrid case. It just stinks to high heaven, doesn't it? So there you go. That's pretty to the point. You may not agree with it, but that's that person's opinion on what they think went down. Again, their speculation, not saying anybody is guilty of anything. So now I get stuff like this all the time, but few strike me as realistic sounding as that one. When I see one of those, I try my best to reach out to the person and at least acknowledge it. This time I wanted to give them credit, but I didn't get a reply back on that. So thank you to the viewer that left the comment. There was a lot of things that rang possibly true to me ever since hearing about it in the 4chan posts. Things like weird red rum fantasies back at Bishop High School in Boise. That's not a normal thing to have as a recurring obsession. Now, as far as Barry having mental problems, that's something I'm not going to comment on. I have no idea. Let's leave that alone. That's his business. Same with a potential incel situation. Have no idea. Have no idea. But if he was a more reserved guy in a fraternity full of wild alpha males on the hunt every minute of every day, it would mess with his mind, I'm sure, if he wasn't as successful as they were. Not to mention having to tutor Ethan and having to see him with Xana when he felt that Xana was more, should have been attracted to him instead of Ethan. And that's a lot of stuff to unpack with this post here, but I thought it was interesting in tandem to what I had just come up with myself. And same with the Elliot Rodgers stuff. I mean, I see some likenesses there. It's almost strange. But beyond that similarity, I mean, honestly, it's just pure speculation. But I don't know. So what do you guys think? Drop a comment below. It helps the channel, helps get me to see what your input is so I can, steer the ship on further videos. I'll be going live tomorrow. That's July 19th, 4 p.m. Central. Going to talk about the gag order that was lifted in the Idaho 4 case. And we're going to talk about that Steve G interview he did with Ashley Banfield and some stuff he talked about gags. Pretty interesting. You're not going to want to miss it. So we'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central right here. I'd like to thank the membership of the Hornside Club. You guys are awesome. Mayhem Squad, you guys are awesome. And everybody that watches is awesome. I appreciate you doing that. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And I'll see you next time.